Hey, this is Captain Caveman, and you're watching Retro Edge UK.
Well, a very warm welcome to this, the final episode of Retro Collecting with Retro Ed and Friends. If you've missed any of the prior videos, then please go and check them out. Got some wonderful contributions from people in the retro gaming and toy community talking about the best places to source retro and how to get yourself a really good deal. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to avoid hidden surprises, because quite often if you're looking for retro, things aren't always what they seem. So again, I've enlisted the help of some fantastic people in the retro community who are going to share their advice. And the format of this video is going to be a bit different from the previous ones. For starters, there's going to be fewer interruptions from me, which probably isn't a bad thing, and we're going to go through the advice videos one after another. I'll see you on the other side, and enjoy.
Always check the photos fully before you buy. Always check the description on eBay before you buy as well. Obvious little tips, but don't just rush in and buy something.
Avoiding hidden surprises and bad experiences, yeah, not always easy. Like a lot of things, I guess the first thing would be to say, just do some research. Basic research into the line you're looking at collecting. Just try and get yourself clued up to the point where you probably feel your knowledge is at a level where you can negotiate deals and negotiate buying items in confidence that you're getting what you think you are paying for. Stick to Facebook groups if you can. You know, reputable groups that only deal in certain lines are generally safe to say that you're getting original items. Not always, you know, you do get the odd bad experience, but generally Facebook groups are usually pretty reliable. eBay can be a minefield. Probably my worst experience on eBay was with this guy. Now, when The Force Awakens was released, I immediately wanted a First Order Stormtroop helmet. I went onto eBay, found this listing. It was £250, so a lot of money. But the image was a stock image pulled straight from the internet. But at the time, I didn't think anything of that. I thought that that's what I was buying. And when it arrived, it was quite literally a mask. So it had all this section was missing. It had no back to it. It was quite literally cut straight down the side. And it was just a mask from something like the Disney store. It had no lenses. The eye lenses were like a mesh, like a netting, and it would probably cost around £30 from a Disney store. So again, plenty of messaging the seller, especially if you're about to drop a lot of money. That worked out in the end because I did get my money back through eBay, but it was long and drawn out. Always make sure you do your research. And generally, if anyone's selling something and they claim to have it in hand ready to send, but they've only got a stock image on the listing, I would always question that. Ask them for genuine pictures, real pictures of the item that you're going to receive, and just make sure that you are confident before buying anything.
Do you remember when you ordered that game in September? When it arrived, you went to play. There was a scratch disc, no instructions, shit stains, smells like fucking onions. And that was just one game. Yo, people, everybody likes a nasty surprise. You know, when I go to the bingo, some granny comes up, she's like, "You're cutie. Love your booty." I'm like, "Cheers, baby." Next thing you know, she's whipped her tits out. First glance, they were pushed up, looking absolutely beautiful. When she's whipped them out, she's tickling her toes with nipples. You know what I'm saying? So looks can be deceiving. And I'm going to explain a little bit of that to you. So everybody knows I shop at shops. Keep it local if I go to other towns. Keep it to the nice little independent shops if I can. Yeah, I only buy a handful online, and that's usually new games. So PS5 games, they're new out, you know what you're getting. Anything retro, anything slightly newer than that, yeah, it's at the shop. So yeah, here's a few tips that I've got to avoid nasty surprises. Right, first up, for me, I think one of the biggest culprits is cardboard and box protectors. See, if you're buying a box, it's in a shop, it already comes in a protector. Get them to take it out. Please do yourself a favour, get them to take it out. Because these protectors hide a magnitude of sins. They really do, honestly. So you might think, oh yeah, it looks absolutely mint, you know. take it out, have a look. My condition, what I will accept, is going to be different to yours. Ebby's condition's different, it's up to you. But yeah, just take it out anyway, just have a look at the real condition, because yeah, it's surprising what these can hide. And that works with the baggies as well. Same again, these baggies hide a lot. And a lot of shops are starting selling these as well, you know, with baggies already on. So yeah, take them out, make sure the instructions are there. If you're looking for instructions, I always do, you know, have a look at condition at disc. If the disc is scratched, whew, just take it back to the counter saying, look, have you got a cleaner? I know CX have, another lot of retro shops have, so take it and say, look, can you clean it up? They'll show you, you'll decide whether or not you want it. But yeah, then baggies is a bad culprit for, yeah, hiding a lot of sins. The next one for me is, I'm just using this as an example, say a console, controller, something what can get a lot of use, and the box is absolutely mint. Yeah, don't go by the box. I could buy this, stick the box on my shelf, I could take the console to bingo, I could let Tarquin use it as a butt plug, you know, whatever. So yeah, even if the box is nice on a console, take it out, have a look. You know, because you've got consoles like Super Nintendo's, you can get a really nice box. Have a look at the console, it looks like it smoked 80 a day. It's that nicotine stain, it's unbelievable. It's like fucking Doc Cotton's teeth in EastEnders. So yeah, make sure you take everything out, have a look, thorough inspection. Especially on DVD, CD cases. I've picked them up before, slightly messed up, had a look, it's had Xbox logo pulled up where a sticker's been on before. You know, I don't want, if I've got a shelf like that, other people are particular with other things. So yeah, make sure you have a look, it's all about visuals. And yeah, it's like, I've been on the hunt for sort of a nasty surprise. It's like, can you imagine if you bought a game and it was from like the 90s, nobody used it since, you opened it up and it got an old joint in that somebody rolled up from like 25 years ago. It's all powdery and crumbled. I'd smoke the shit out of that. That'd be an amazing find. Also as well, if you opened it up, obviously somebody's fucking birds like slip the thong inside and it's like you should be like, oh dear. So yeah, there's some nasty surprises that you do want, but on conditions of games. It's all about visuals, check in, don't take anything for granted. Stay sexy, people. Peace.
How to avoid hidden surprises. Okay, well, that is a great question. I would say always, if you're going to be buying a high dollar item, if it's online, always ask for pics of the board. I'm assuming this is a cartridge-based thing now. I know less about disc-based reproductions and counterfeits and things like that, but as far as the cartridge-based PCB type stuff, always ask for pics of the board, and you can compare it online. There's a lot of resources online where you can compare legitimate board pics. Now, if you're going to be buying stuff in person, like at a retro store, it's your first time at a retro store, you haven't established a relationship with them yet, you're kind of unsure or you're nervous if you're buying a high-ticket item, you could always bring a screwdriver. You know, any store that gets offended by you bringing a screwdriver, you could just walk right out. Okay, this comes with the territory, this comes with the hobby. You should be prepared to walk in with a screwdriver just in case. Of course, if it's a less expensive item, don't worry about it, you know. But as far as avoiding surprises, have a screwdriver handy. Maybe have some board pics just in case if you're not sure. Lastly, if you're doing a Facebook Marketplace type of deal where you're meeting somebody, do it in the daytime. And I speak from experience because one time there was a fantastic deal that I just couldn't pass up. It was maybe 12 or 15 Super Nintendo games for very cheap. Okay, there were some heavier type dollar value hitters in there. So I decided to message the seller. And this was early in the day, and they said they couldn't meet until the evening. And for whatever reason, I agreed to do that, you know, because they said they had to work. So, okay, you know, I was kind of nice about it and agreed to meet with them at night. bring a flashlight, bring a screwdriver. I decided not to do that. Okay, of course, every cell phone on the planet has a flashlight nowadays, but I just wasn't thinking. Make the exchange, the cash for the bag of games. I quickly look in there to make sure they're there. Bring them home. They are absolutely trashed, rusted, just in total shambles. Okay, and so I got taken advantage of, and I decided to turn that into a positive experience, and learn from it. I was, with the encouragement of some buddies out in YouTube land, try to one by one salvage the games. I salvaged all but one of them with some heavy cleaning, different types of cleaners, replacing capacitors. I had to put more time than I wanted into to replace these, and I wouldn't do that again, but I decided to turn it into a positive experience. And so please learn from my mistake. Try not to do any of these deals at nighttime. That is a great way to avoid surprises. So that does it for the questions, I believe. Thank you to RetroEd for including me. Thank you for tuning into the Dad Racer program, and I'll see you soon.
Why, thank you for that introduction, Ed, and luckily no charges were pressed. So I'm going to talk about a couple of experiences I've had with using Facebook Marketplace, or to be more exact, one I've had and one that one of my sisters has had. So Facebook Marketplace, great to try and pick up some retro games, because if you're lucky, then they're not going to be as price hiked as eBay or potentially CEX. Because there might be people who are just clearing out their lofts, can't be bothered to go car boot, just stick it on Facebook, somebody might come around and collect it. Great. But if, like me, you don't want to go and get it because it might be at the other end of the country, then you'll want to go try and get it posted. I wanted to pick up some controllers for my GameCube, and there was someone saying some, for an okay price, I thought, okay, I'll buy a couple. So I post them out. I've arrived. Can you check? Oh, I'll double check. Haven't arrived. Are you sure they've been, are they still in transit? Nothing. And I had paid by PayPal, but because I wanted to be nice, I paid as friends and family, not as buying a good or service. So what's the difference, you may ask, is that if you pay using friends or family, then a charge won't be levied against the person you're paying. They get the full amount that you're giving over. Whereas if you say you're paying for a service, PayPal will take a fee. Never got those controllers. Now, before Christmas, my sister wanted to get a PS4 game for her husband. So there was a lady selling one on Facebook Marketplace for quite a very good price. But she said, oh, must be friends and family. So my sister did that. The next thing though, she was ghosted and the woman's account was removed. So never got a PS4 game, couldn't claim the money back, and so now we're seeing scammers using Facebook Marketplace as a way to get money out of people. Because if they do friends and family, then there's nothing you can do. Sadly, especially if they remove their Facebook account, you can't even flag them up to Facebook if they would do anything. So my top tip is to always pay using buying goods or service, and if the seller has an issue with that, say, okay, add on an extra bit to pay for the fee, if it's still a good price for you, if they're legitimate. If they're a scammer, then there's nothing, then they'll probably just ghost you and just never reply again. So, take care on the online space. Catch you next time.
First off, obviously, I'm new to YouTube. Started August last year, so I'm a new YouTuber. Let's get that bit out of the way. Anyway, you're here to hear my views or opinions or how or what I get and how I get. I would say first and foremost, Facebook, join as many gaming groups as you can, because that way you can get to see what other sellers are selling, or even collectors like yourself could be selling up, getting rid of seconds, or just downsizing, so you can get older that way. Also, another way, if you're you have a certain list of games you want, you can put your lists out there for other people to see, and you'll get people contacting you saying, oh, I've got a game, I think I'll sell it. Do you want to buy it this much? That works. I've had a couple of people reach out to me because I've put the list out there and get games off that way. Another good way, a really good way of getting really expensive games for a couple of quid. There's a certain groups on there that do a Facebook raffle. Facebook raffles are great. So tickets could be, I don't know, anything from £1 to say £5 a number. Me, myself personally, apparently I'm the luckiest man in the world because I've won so many Facebook raffles. I put a fiver on and won games worth £100, £150, or even games worth £50, you know, cheap ones, multiple games, a box console with a load of games. Pretty much that's how it got me started on the mass system anyway, but you're not here for that. But yeah, Facebook raffles is a really good one because there's certain games out there, big hitters that get put on there that you're not willing to spend £400, £500 on. But for a low entry fee of say £2.50 for one number, it only takes one number to win, doesn't it? So you could end up with a game worth £400 and you've only spent a couple of quid. So that is a great way. eBay is what I tend to use for collecting, and the reason behind eBay is because first and foremost there's pictures on there. People selling can put numerous pictures on there, which is really good because you can get to see more than what you want from the picture. You can zoom in, you can see if it's got a card, it's got a manual. Is the manual, like, it could say it's with a manual, but if it's a picture of the manual, the manual's all wrecked and horrible, you know not to buy it if you don't want it. If you want to collect CIBs, you know, complete like myself, that kind of thing. Also, backtrack slightly, is what kind of person are you? Are you a collector wanting loads of box collections? Are you a gamer just wanting loose cards? Because you can pick loose cards up really cheap, or multi-cards. You can have multi-cards just to play games on. But if you want to go down the collecting route, which is this is more about collecting, is what you're going to be collecting. Are you going to be a full set mission man, or do you just want, say, 20 games from each of, I don't know, which console? Say 10 games from the X64, 10 games from the SNES, 10 games from the Master System, that kind of thing. What do you want? Me personally, I didn't set out to be a huge collector. I just wanted to collect certain games I had as a child, because some of my collection is from my childhood, but there's certain games I've sold off and I want back. And there's also certain games I never had as a child, couldn't afford to get, that I want. So I've been purchasing them games I really wanted to own as a child, which is sad, I know. But I've been collecting games I wanted and I've got. So eBay, let's get back to eBay. Me personally, I like eBay. You got a filter, brilliant. You can select UK only, that way if you're not buying from abroad like myself, because I don't want to pay import charges, which that little game just there from Italy smacked me with a massive £74 import charge. Yeah, so I try and buy my games all UK based. Also, every Sunday, it seems to be the day that most people list their stuff for sale, probably because they've got more time to sit down and list them. So I like to go on eBay every Sunday, look for Mass System stuff, search newly listed, have a look what's been listed. That's a good start. Also as well, stuff ends on a Sunday a lot of time as well. So you can go on there and look at ending soonest, so you can see what's going and pick up a last minute bargain, quick bid, last minute and win. Also, when you're on eBay, if there's a certain game on there, say it's at £5 start and it's a game you know goes quite pricey, and you go, right, my max on this is going to be £50. You could put a £50 max on, walk away, ignore it. If you win, you've got it for the price you want. If you don't, it's another day. Don't get yourself into bidding wars, because that really just drive up the prices. Me personally, watch items. Go on there with a mission, what sort of games you're after, put them in your watches, and then what I like to do is every month, payday comes around, I like to pick a game, right, I'll get that game this month, or 2 games, if not too expensive. That's also a good way, because they're in your watch, You don't need to buy them there and then. Treat yourself every month on payday. That way you're not overspending like I've rushed in and overspent on games myself personally. I need to slow down and really think of what about you're buying. Do that. So for me, I would say definitely eBay is a very good multiple tool out there because you see what you can get. You can haggle on eBay. You can watch all the games you want, pick a few every month, no rush, enjoy the journey, enjoying collecting games, and just figure out what you want from it. Just set yourself a goal and enjoy that ride. Enjoy that journey on this community of the retro gaming because it's such a good community to be in.
You only really see this with cartridge-based games, I find. So it's generally Pokemon games on, say, Game Boy Advance and possibly Game Boy Color. But it sounds really anal. But make sure you've always got to hand the game bits. So there's only two sizes of game bit that you can just put on a little handheld screwdriver. I can't tell you what the different sizes are, but if you go onto eBay and search game bits, you will find them, and there'll be a couple of quid. And both of those different sizes will enable you to open pretty much all of Sega and Nintendo's cartridge library. And opening a cart is immediately obvious when something is real and something is fake. Nintendo, for example, has a lot better sort of circuitry design than you would find on repros. Repros generally use a lot of sort of glue and not very neat soldering, and they don't even use batteries when the games are meant to have batteries, if that makes sense.
Hello YouTube, how the cluck are you? Thank you very much RetroRewind UK for allowing myself to join some other fantastic YouTubers in giving hints, tips and tricks in building a collection, whether it be games, whether it be toys, or whether it's just something that just joins them all together. Now, my idea, my bit of information I want to share with anyone that's watching comes with a warning. Warning. In this community that I'm aware of, people are so happy to share information. You may through a WhatsApp group know what the next big thing is, and if it's at a cheap price, you can buy it there and then. Obviously not like turn into a scalper, but you could buy it there and then, whether it be for your collection, or if you have the aim of, right, this is the next big thing, I've got something here, maybe next time I can sell it as the price rises, it gets more popular, I can sell it, and then I've made that money to then go and fund maybe something else within the collection. Or something that I've seen done often is that people get to know each other. Very important. And then it's, right, I'm interested in this franchise. Oh, this franchise is cheap near me. I can get that for you. Brilliant. Excellent. You know, people do stuff for other people. Yeah? Someone may notice that a price has crashed on a particular computer game. Lets everyone know. Oh, everyone jumps on it. They might have that real, once upon a time expensive game in their collection to play. Same as like games that become digital only. So you had like Turtles when that was on Xbox. You had Scott Pilgrim, obviously became physical. But, you know, some people keep real tight contact and other people don't. If you're in these WhatsApp groups, you can get this information because someone is willing to share it. Furthermore, if you have someone's trust and they have your trust, that becomes a friendship. Friends do friends that makes rates. These things happen. Over in America, you see, you've got community mailboxes. Over here, once upon a time, we had the community box that went around the UK. These things happen, and these things are what makes collections. These are things that what make bonds. These are things that make us talk to each other and just make gaming that much more personal and makes it flipping brilliant to be a part of. So it's not really, it's not a trick or a tip or a hint to grow your collection. I want to say it can help, but man, just go out there and build friendships based on the hobbies and respect each other. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? And Retro Ed UK, the series is blinding, my friend. I hope people take all your hints and tips from all these fantastic tubers you've managed to get together for this series. It's been a great idea. But until next time, people, take care.
How to avoid hidden surprises? Well, that's a tricky one, especially when you're buying things online. You can ask for a picture or video, but they can send anything to you. At the end of the day, you can order one thing and they can send a brick and stuff like that. They can send Chinese copies. They look just like the real deal, but they are not. If you want to be 100% sure that you will get the real deal, then you must buy from the trusted seller or the real collector. But in that case, you have to pay even more because you're 100% sure everything is all right. Or you can find some seller and hope that he will send the real deal and not some Chinese copy or whatever. So it's a tricky one, if you're buying online.
Hello, James from Sweet Radish Gaming here with just a few tips on avoiding hidden surprises when buying retro games. Most important thing you can do when you're getting into retro games is research, and that will be the main thing that'll get you avoiding those hidden surprises. And even if it's as simple as researching what consoles you want, what games you want, because you can end up going way too broad and just be all over the place. That's something I've done. And that was not something I was expecting to do because you get drawn into other consoles. Another thing is research value of games, because you don't want to pay for anything that you could have otherwise got cheaper. And that even includes looking maybe at Japanese or American versions of games. That could be the answer for you, because I bought a few games for the GameCube. I could have got them cheaper from the US or Japan, and with language being, very little of an issue, to be honest with you. Check what accessories and, what's the best setup for playing games. Because if you're getting into Super Nintendo for the first time, you don't want to be there plugging your new Super Nintendo into your flat screen TV and finding out it looks like melted Smarties. Because really speaking, there's going to be better ways of playing stuff or doing things, be it a Retron 5 upscaler, whatever. Do your research, because I know a few people who've bought these consoles and they've been disappointed by the fact that it won't work on their setup, and they don't want to buy a CRT TV to play it. Another important one is, if you're collecting full sets, avoid or research the whole collection. Just don't go for the big hitters, because there's going to be some shovelware that's going to cost a lot of money, and you need to be willing to do that if you're going to get into full set collecting. So again, all comes down to that research. And to be honest with you, I think the most important thing, and I did this a lot when I first started getting back into collecting, is be careful of where you buy your games from. So eBay is obviously a big one that a lot of people get games from. You're going to end up with hidden surprises buying through eBay, be it through dirty discs, stinky manuals, missing bits from a set. It's going to happen. Also, the one that got me recently was I bought a copy of Minish Cap for the GBA. Looks perfect, reasonable price, label's perfect, cartridge perfect. Inside, it's a fake. Really good fake, but it's still fake, and I've lost £20 down the pisser, really. So, really important to have a good retro shop, because you can guarantee you can trust them, because their business is going to be based off it. And maybe even buying off people because again, you're probably going to find you can trust them over some random dude on eBay. And I think the most important thing you can do once, sort of getting into retro collecting and gaming is set a budget. Set a monthly budget, set a yearly budget, and that'll stop you from overspending, because you will, and I've done it, and probably most people have. If you don't have the budget in place, you're going to keep buying. You're going to see something and you're going to go for it, and it's just going to repeatedly happen. So set your budget, and that will really make a difference to how you feel about collecting. You're not sort of getting yourself into trouble or debt with doing it. And that was probably the most that took me a long time to click with that one. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.
I really hope you found that useful. I certainly did. However, there was one vital bit of information that I missed out. So let's roll the VT and see what that is.
And especially, don't buy nothing when you're pissed.
And there you have it. Not just the end of the episode, but the end of the mini-series. I've got to say, it's been an absolute delight to pull this together. Really, really so appreciative of everyone that's contributed their time and their advice and their videos to make this happen. I literally couldn't have done it without you. So on that note, I love you and I'll leave you. Happy collecting, and I'll see you around. Cheers.